D. So here we're going to be looking at how we can be able to edit this faculty, update this table to retrieve all faculty records to this table, and to delete a particular role in this table, and to delete all faculties. If there's still time, we'll do the same thing for department, and we'll do the same thing for program. So let's get started. In the previous video we did for this faculty, where we add faculty records to the database table. So let's start it. So this is the folder. This is our software application, right? So I'll go to my faculty here. In faculty, there is a template folder. So in this template folder, we have the add faculty.html and the list faculty.html, right? So if I'll click on the list faculty.html, where we defined our static HTML tables. So now we're going to make this dynamic, where all the records will come from the database, will come from the relational database management system. So I'll go to my views.py, where we'll define the functional requirements of the application. Now, let me quickly explain this one here. Remember in your own function where you have the get faculty list, right? Your own function where you have the get faculty list, we are just returning the list faculty.html. Now here, making it dynamic here, we're going to add a method called, this is a methods equal to get. So this get means we want to retrieve all the faculty record from the faculty table, right? So that's what this one means. Method equal to get. Then here we have a variable. We define a variable called faculty, and then we'll call. Remember that we imported the faculty model, which is from app, which is the app folder, dot the faculty folder, dot the models, which is a script. Then imports the faculty model, which we have built in the previous lesson. So we'll call it faculty. We'll call the model faculty dot query dot all, right? So at the end here, when we redirect to the list faculty.html, we need to return, we need to return the tables, right? You can see that this faculty holds all the records. It holds all the record in this, um, it holds all the faculty records here. So here we'll create another variable called FAC. It can be any name, then equal to, I'll copy this one now. So what this means is that I'm passing the faculty record down to the FAC here. So at the end, I'll be returning this FAC. Like I'll be looping through this FAC to show all the faculty records. So in the list faculty.html here, so what I will do here, you can see here in the HTML table, we have the table row, the table head, and then we have the table data cell. So what we are looping through, we are not looping this table head, but we're looping the table head remains. What we're looping is the table data cell. So here, before we define the table role for the table data cell, we're going to define the Ginger template, which has to do with this. So we're going to write a for loop like this, right? So we can see these braces and the percentage sign at the end, beginning and the end. So within we have the for. I'll write a variable name, let's say for I in FAC. Like I'm trying to loop through this FAC so that will show all the records in the faculty table on this table here, on this HTML table here. So for I in faculty, right? So I'll end my for, right? I will end my for here. I'll put the percentage sign here, beginning and end. So within it, I'll put my end for. So for I in faculty, so in this table data cell, the first place, I'll put double braces like this and close double braces like this. So within it here, I'll put the I dot ID. So the ID, remember that what you are keying here should be the same name what we have in the model here. So this is a faculty model. We have the ID, we have the name, and we have the code. So here I have my ID.name. I'll copy this, my ID.name. I'll change this one, then ID.code. So let's quickly look at what we did here. So if I run this application now, if I go to my browser, right, you can see, let's run this one. If I refresh, you can see what happens, right? So all the records from the faculty table have been populated to this HTML table here. So the next thing we want to do here is when I click on this delete button, you should be able to delete this particular row. You can see that we have some things that need to be deleted here. So if I click on this delete, it should delete this row. If I click on this, delete this row. So what we'll do now, we'll write a function for delete, and then we'll pass it to this delete button, which we have created in previous class. So I'll go to my views.py here, then I'll write a function, or I'll write a method, like a method to delete a row from the faculty table. So I'll quickly write my decorator at the faculty blueprint dot route. Then I will define a function for this. So let's call this delete faculty, right? But since we are passing an ID, because we need to make the computer understands the particular ID we are deleting, right? So this is the function, this is the part which is delete faculty, then slash, I'll pass in the parameter which is int ID. So now I'll pass in my method, right? Actually, post will work for this also. So I'll use post. So I'll define the function. So the function is def delete faculty. So I'll pass in the parameter which is ID. So I'll create a variable name called faculty equal to. So I'll call faculty dot query dot get or 404 ID. Right, so the next thing I'll have is a db which subsection dot delete. Then I'll pass the faculty. Then db dot session dot commit. So now the next thing to do here is to return redirect. So once I delete a particular role, I should return this function url4. I should return this function url4. So the name of the folder is called faculty dot. Now the name of the function is when I click on that delete role, it should after deleting a particular record, after deleting a particular row, it should return me to the get faculty list. So I'll copy this and I will paste it here. So I've defined my function to or method to delete a role from a particular role from the faculty table. So I'll quickly go to the list faculty.html here. So this is the form. So the action is equal to post. The action is equal to post. Then the method, sorry, is the method. The method, sorry, is equal to post. Then the action is a function which is URL4, the name of the folder which is faculty dot. Then the name of that function. Let's look at it with delete faculty. I'll copy it. Delete faculty. Then comma id equal to I dot id. So remember that this faculty function here, right, it has a parameter. So this is a parameter, this is an argument, right, we are passing to this function here. So when a user clicks on delete, it picks the ID and it deletes that particular row. So that's what we did here. So now let's quickly test this and see how it works. So I'll click on this. So it's got an expected argument keyword method. So in my view.py, there's actually an error here. So it's supposed to be methods and not method. So I'll run this again. Okay, now let's quickly test this and see how it works. So I'll refresh this. So when I click on delete, now say, are you sure that you want to delete this row? So when I click on this, you can see that the record is out. So let's click the second one. Are you sure you want to delete this row? If I click on this, record is out. So let's do the third one. The other one. Are you sure you want to delete it? If I click on this, record is out. You can see how simple it is, right? So now let's work on the other one. Let's work on edit. Now edit, I'm not creating another form for edit. We'll be using the form we created in the previous lessons for add faculty. So when I click on edit, it will populate this computing and come to the add faculty form, and then I can update it. So let's work on this. I'll create a method for the edit to see how I will do that. And it's very simple. So I will go to, we are in the function here, we are in the views.py for faculty. So I'll write a function or a method, let's say a method to update faculty record. So I have my decorator, which is faculty blueprint dot the route. So I can call this one edit faculty, right? So slash the same thing to have int ID. So the system will know the particular IDs updating or editing. Then I have my method equal to, so this method will be get and post. Get and then post. Okay. So there's an okay. So I have a function. I'll call the function here def update faculty, right? So I'll pass the parameter here, which is ID. So the first thing I'll need to do here is to call a variable, which is this. Then I'll have my model faculty dot create dot get or fall for and the ID, this ID here. The next thing I'll do is to define a variable called form and to pass the faculty form. Right? So I'll have my object, which is equal to, then I'll pass this faculty. So the reason for this object here is, right, in object relational mapper, when I pass this, when I query this, right, based on the ID, so when I pass it to the object, so when I want to call this, return this form, return the add faculty form, next, when I click on the edit button, it will retrieve all the record on that row down to the add faculty. That's what this line does, right? So the next line is to, if I click on the button, so if form.validate on submit, if form dot validate on submit, so what we'll do here is form dot populate object, then this is the faculty. You can see how easy it is, right? Instead of me writing how to pass the data to the forms, right? So just to form the populate the object and then faculty. So automatically this will update the record automatically. So now I will have my db dot session dot commit, right? Then db dot db dot session dot commit. Okay, let's save it like this. Now at the end of this, we return redirect URL4, then the name of the folder is called faculty dot. So once this is done, once a record is updated successfully, it should return to the get faculty list. So I'll click on this, I'll call this here, right? Then I'll return render template, which is the same add faculty.html. Add faculty.html. So I'll pass the form equal to the form here. Now there's something I want to say to you guys now, right? For the update to work very well, remember that the models you have already defined the ID, name, and code, right? So in the forms should be the same. The forms should be the ID, name, and code. The ID, name, and code, so that it will work very well. Then okay, I'm done with this. So let's check the add faculty. So the fact it has the form.name and the form.code, right? So you know that in previous video, what we have is a faculty name. That is what we define in the forms, right? So this is what we did in the previous lesson. We have the faculty name like this. So this will work for the add, but if you are using just one form, right? And to do the update, the name needs to be the same with what you have in the model here so that it will work perfectly fine. Okay, so now we are done with the update here, right? So the next thing to do here is to call this function update faculty, go to the list faculty.html, This is the edit button, and then we'll call the function here, which is URL4. Then the name of the folder is called faculty dot this dot update faculty. Then outside this, where I'll put comma id equals to I dot id. So let's try and see how it works. So let me delete this. So if I run this now, okay, it's telling me must start with a slash. Okay, I didn't actually start my stuff with a slash, so I'll put a slash here. So I'll run this again. Okay, now let's go to the stuff here. So if I refresh, so you can see the delete button is actually working. So let's try again. We have delete, you can see we've delete one. So now if I click on this edit button, you can see what it does, right? It's showing me the computing and the com. So let's assume that we want to change this to CUM, for instance. So you can see it changes. So let's click on the edit button again. Let's assume we want to change this computing to computer, for instance. So if I click on this, you can see it changes, right? So you can see how easy it is. The line of codes are very short, so no stress. Just follow up this tutorial and get this done. So you can see the edit button is working. Let's take it back to computing. Computing, and this the code is COM. So if I save this, you can see that the edit button is working, the delete button is working. So what about this delete all? Like if we want to delete all the records from here, we want to delete all the records from here. So what happens, right? So we're going to write the function for that. So I'll go to my Visual Studio Code. So we go to the same function here. So what I will do, I've already written a function for delete. I will just copy this one, right? And then paste it here. Instead of writing my stuff, I'll just copy and paste it here. Then I will change this name to delete all faculty, right? So since I'm deleting all faculty, I don't need a parameter called an ID anymore here, right? I don't need a parameter called ID. So let's write a function delete all faculty here. So what I will do here is just go straight to the point because we are trying to delete also to be faculty dot query dot delete. So you are like we're deleting all the records, right? We're deleting all the records from the faculty table and then we commit. So we are done with this. So what I will do now to remove this ID from ID parameter here, the variable ID here. So I'll copy this one. I'll go to the list faculty.html. I'll go to the list faculty.html. So what I will do here is you can see we have a button here called are you sure you want to delete all faculties? So what I will do here, I have my action. So I'll define my action here, which is URL4, then faculty, which is the name of the folder, dot the name of the function, which is faculty. Then the method is post. Let me go to here. The method is equal to post. Okay, let's test it. I think we are done. So let's test this. Okay. Now, before we test it, there's something I want to say, right? So, if the department table is like, if there's is referencing computing and it's referencing national applied sign, if you click on delete all faculties, now these guys will not go out. So, let's try and see. So, if I click on this, now they are not going out because there are records referencing this. So, let's try and add more records. Let's add medicine and let's add med, right? So now if I click on this delete, right, it's telling you that methods not allowed, right? Methods not allowed. So we'll try and see on the next video tutorial, we'll try and see how we can make this work accurately. So what we'll do here, let's quickly go back to our stuff here. Okay, you can see this post, there's an error here. So let me refresh this. Let me delete this again. Okay, now you can see the error, right? You can see the error here. In our next tutorials, I'm going to teach you guys exemption handling so that when the error like this happens, it won't take you out of the application. You can see what happens. Cannot delete or update a parent role, a foreign key constraint. You can see that a department table is already referencing a record in that faculty table. That's why I can't delete all record, right? Assuming that there's no reference in here, assuming that there's no department that is actually referencing the record here, this delete all faculties will actually work. So now let's do it one by one here. But if I want to delete this, let's watch what happens, right? You can see. So this happens because there is a record in the department table referencing this natural and applied science. So let's do the same thing. Yeah, it will do the same thing, right? So you can see it does the same thing. So in the process so for us to be able to delete this faculty, we have to delete the the department records, right, that belongs to this particular faculty. That is only where we can delete this faculty. Right, I hope you understand it. That is the reason why we have the foreign key constraint and the primary key constraint. So it doesn't allow you to delete this because there's already a record in a department table that is referencing these two records here. So we end this lecture here. On the next tutorial, we're going to look at departments and program. We'll look at relationships and then how we can be able to use this do this accurately fine and very very simple. So in this lecture you have learned the delete all faculties, you have learned the edit button, how to can be able to edit a particular role and how we can be able to delete a particular role. So thank you and God bless you.